around town, persons can still park in the area. Once it's not a yellow line, it doesn't restrict them from parking in that area. We are not trying to force anybody to go down to the Port Zante parking lot or the Value Mart parking lot, but we encourage them for a more safer flow of the traffic in the Basti area. To utilize these areas, because these areas are open areas and it's not like they have to pay,
right,
to be at these parking lots, and they can park more comfortably.
Right.
Okay. So that's basically the plan for the traffic flow, really. Anything other than that, then that's more of internal for us.
Donnelly, you look like you were going to say something.
Yes, I was going to say that. I like when we are giving information to the general public, because the north and south don't go well with some people, because some persons don't know north and south and east and west.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah. So we say up Victoria Road, down Park Range, that kind of thing. Okay, but I think Mr. Bell would have done justice.
Yes.
And he would have explained too about where persons can park. There is also the Beach Island parking area, Beach Island playing area, where you can park. We are not, like he said, these areas, there's no restriction on these areas. Value Mart parking lot, Port Zante, Beach Island playing field. But when you're parking, please to be mindful that you must be properly parked, because there will not be anyone in the area to park you. So just in the event that someone wants to leave before you, that they're not blocked in. So when we are parked, just make sure you park with consideration for other motorists.
During Music Festival, this complaint came in. Not enough notice was given about the tow trucks, right, before or on the evening of the event. Some people were saying you should have had a crown crier, that's what it's called, right, who drives around giving out announcements. Have you considered that for the CPL games?
Well, we haven't, Actually, we're still using the same. We implementing the same thing that we did the last time. We would have our Facebook page, and Bell would have failed to mention it just now, and I think it's not an act of willfulness, but the tow trucks will still be in place, and we're asking the general public motorists to be mindful of that the restricted areas, and so we're asking you not to park where you're not to park, because the tow trucks will be on duty, they will be on site. And so the areas that are restricted, the areas that are yellow lined, please to be mindful of where you park, because we will have the tow trucks in order. And they're $200 for towing of the vehicle and $100 for the parking ticket.
Total of $300, right?
So just to add to that before we move off though, the reason it's not that we resort to the tow truck one time as our first option. The problem we have when persons are at these venues, we're trying to contact them to come and move their vehicle, and it's either their phone are ringing out, we cannot get them because of the noise or what's not, or because of the amount of people in the area, the reception is bad. So we cannot stay there all night waiting and hoping for that person to come and move their vehicle, because in the first place, they were supposed to ensure that they park in a area that is, open for them to park. Some persons, they come late, they want to rush to the game, they see an empty spot, but it's a yellow line. But they walk out, hey, this is a spot, they can pull in. And then when they come out now, they're looking for their vehicle. And their excuse is like, they're not obstructing anybody. But you have to understand, we have rules and regulation. So it's not the tow truck, it's the first option, but it's the most effective option.
Got you. All right, so we can move on now?
Yes, we can.
All right, so a number of concerns and complaints rolled in this week. Complaint number one, which you all heard last week, we actually started off the show with that complaint done by the Ross University, where cement was thrown on the road. It's still there. It still has not been removed. And inquiring minds would like to know when it will be moved, and going forward, who is responsible. Because that conversation came up and people were saying that it is unfair for Public Works to be responsible for cleaning up the mess of people who should be cleaning up their own mess.
You want to go?
Yeah, I could. I think I started speaking on that same topic last week. However, without proof and evidence, we cannot prosecute anybody or hold anybody liable for the stuff in the road. If someone have knowledge of who it is, or they have facts, from the dash cam showing that, it was coming from this vehicle, then we can move forward from there. But with us not having any evidence or any facts, and when I said we, I mean the federation, the state, will have to take it on our own to resolve it. Because if we leave it there, the public are still going to cry out to us. They're not going to cry out to the truckmen. They're going to cry out to the police, public works, the government itself. So to resolve the problem, it would still boil down to us. And who do the road work is the public works. So that's why we said they are responsible. We're not saying it's fair to them, because a lot of things are not even fair to the traffic department. But once it's to do with vehicles, road, they call traffic. So who is responsible for it? Us.
Well, I would just like to add, Mr. GQ, that I would have reached out to Public Works Department already, and they are aware of the information. However, I think that they are
overworked.
Yes,
Overload.
because they're overloaded. Because right now they're on George Street in that area, and so they're doing some work, and so they will get to it. And so we want to apologize to the general public, because for truth, we don't know who did. We didn't get any information, and so there is no one we can hold accountable. And so in that regard, we had to resort to the Public Works Department, and so we now have to wait on them when they do get the time. So the general public, those of you who are driving in that area, you are familiar with the area, and you recognize what is happening. So we are asking you to drive cautiously in that area until we get the problem resolved.
Let's take this call. All right, so we lost that call. Let me wait a few seconds to see if they'll call back before I bounce on to the next concern at hand. All right? Okay, nothing there. Over at, when you're heading over to, okay, they're back. Let's take this call. Good morning.
Yeah, JK, I'm back. I'm happy that finally reached out to Public Works, but that area by Ross is known for accidents. Right, and even though Public Works are very busy, I don't think they can take them a lot of time to go with the backer and just even scrape the concrete. So that is unacceptable. I'm telling you straight up. That is unacceptable. It is not where you have to dig up the road to fix it back over. Even if they try to scrape the concrete and some of it come off, it will be much better than leaving it there until it becomes a project. Right? And also, Donnelly, let me give you some tips. Ross University have 1 million cameras. Tap into them, and you will see who spilled the concrete there. Just a little advice. Also, in terms of parking at the Valemont area, what happens if someone blocks you and you're unable to leave? What do we do? Are we going to call the traffic department? And if the traffic department is unable to identify or locate the driver, will they tow that vehicle? So, for example, I can get to where I'm going?
That's correct.
Yes, that's correct. There's also a charge for negligently obstructing the free flow of traffic. So if you're parked in a way that, you could obviously see that person cannot get out unless you move, you're being negligent. So there's a charge from negligently obstructing the free flow of traffic.
Okay. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, you're live.
Hi, good morning, wonderful people. How are you guys doing?
Good morning.
Good morning, thanks.
Okay, that's it. Just a question. I don't know if this might be the right forum or whatever, but if you can't answer now, maybe another Wednesday. If someone got knocked down, what are the procedures? If you can't do it today, we could, maybe another week you can talk about it.
Are you speaking to a traffic accident?
Yes.
Okay.
You want me? Okay. Well, I'm gonna speak from my standpoint as an investigator.
That's correct.
Every accident should be reported. So if someone got knocked down, whether or not they had to rush them to the hospital one time, the police come and meet them at the scene, they must report the accident. First thing first, we inquire what happened. We call for the ambulance, whoever assistance we need, medical assistance, fire and rescue, whichever. Once the scene is controlled, the investigator now inquire as to who all are involved in the accident. We take measurements, explanation, photos if needed, observations, etc. We also issue medical forms to that injured person or whoever complained for pain. We try to get a more detailed statement after. It wouldn't be the same day. We take brief explanations on that day. We schedule a time you come in after, we take detailed statement. That person must return their medical form. The medical form would have whatever the doctor findings are. After the statements, the officer would produce a file to his superiors. They will vet the file and let him know if he need to add anything else, if the file is okay. All accidents are different because it could either stem from the person being intoxicated. So it's different ways for the accidents. But the basic thing is to record the information at the scene, get statements, get driver's license and stuff like that, and produce a file and send it before the court. Then the court now is who will set a date for a trial. Okay? The police can try to speed up the process, but we do not determine the court dates. So that person would have to, wait until there's someone to come to the court. We encourage persons to seek legal advice also.
And talk about advice. If you are summoned to court, please do go. Please don't say, what, I don't fix my car, or I don't give myself solid, or so may need to go anywhere, because I think that in itself is an offense, right?
Yes. Once a magistrate has already signed a complaint or a summons, you must go to the magistrate court.
Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, Mr. Liebert. Good morning to Donnelly Shiverton Liebert, and good morning to Officer Bell. Everyone, you all, good morning.
Good morning.
Officer Bell, I heard you say something I'm very pleased with. Honestly, I am. But I am going to at least state, I hope it is sincere that what you said. I believe it is sincere. It is not fair. You said it's not fair for a lot of things that, of course, may be known to be responsible for the traffic department. In the words you said, it is not fair for the traffic department. I believe that. I want to rewind from at least 4 weeks and 3 weeks, respectively. Donnelly Shiverton said there is a machine or tool that can solve the problem that most of us have always called and spoke about, which is the crossing at KFC and the Chinese restaurant or grocery store. And if it is the case that we are one federation but two separate islands, what it is that we can borrow or lease or rent from one another to get problems solved. However, what it is I do know, you said 3 weeks ago, I spoke about Shiverton, that it's expected for the police in Oldwood to do their job. We believe that it's expected for you all to do our job too. It is true all you come and inform us and advise us and educated about things that we do and continue doing and get tickets for it to offend the law. But it's obvious that we pay a tax for the authority to use the road. We expect the traffic department to keep the road safe. What is? To put the lines in the center of the road to separate the two lanes and paint the roads on both sides, which of course were painted before, some of which are partially erased, some are totally erased. And I am asking myself, is there a priority to put yellow lines on the side of the road than to make the road safe for people to drive and to walk? Which is more? Which one of them is more appropriately right to do? I think both of them are. But we've been crying, and I mean that. Nobody sees us crying because rain are falling so they can't see our tears. But I am asking you all to be sure what I have just mentioned, it is done. we expect you all to do what is supposed to be done. Officer, I thank you all for listening and have a good day. Goodbye.
Yes, so thank you for your concern and your advice also, sir. Any other?
Yeah, we have a call. I was ready to make sure you respond to him properly before I move on.
Well, I think he had more directed it to Donnelly, so
Well, I think he was more sort of
Informative.
informing
Yeah,
us
yeah.
as to what we should do, and I would have made my notes to what he would have said,
Okay.
and we would take what he said to the appropriate authorities.
Okay, just to add to what he said, he mentioned by the KFC area. Now, I want to let the general public to know that the proper crossing is down at the traffic lights. They're at Social Security opposite King's Pavilion, the hotel, the Chinese hotel. The crossing is no longer there by KFC. The pedestrian crossing was marked out, but because of the time that it was there, the paint faded away. Okay, I would say it's on us really to have got that resolved as soon as possible, but we have to work hand in hand with people. So
Well, I understand what you're saying. Right? The situation at hand that the police department will have to deal with, and here's a scenario for you. Whether they know or don't know,
it's there.
it's there.
Yes,
And
I agree.
and someone and anyone can pull that card of I don't know
Yes.
when it's appropriate.
That's why I'm trying to make sure I'm real careful with the words that I choose. That's why you see me here trying to make sure.
Pause.
that-
That's why I
yes,
realized where you're
so
going. Yeah, because at
but-
the end of the day,
Yeah.
the reality is
It's still there.
it's still there.
It's still there. And so we have to take, whether we want to or not, we cannot run from it. We have an obligation, we have a responsibility, and we need to take care of our responsibilities, whether we want to accept it or not. The general public has been crying out, and so we need to make it a priority.
Yes.
Let's back to the phone line. Good morning, you're live.
Hi, good morning, Chikyu,
Morning.
and your guest here, with you.
Yes.
Good morning.
Yes, I have a very important question that I would like to find out about. Now, I would like to know if it's the police authority to check one insurance papers when we have an accident. And if they do, if they are supposed to find out the way in which that card was insured, because it seems to me like some of these insurance agents, I could mention a name, like Gulf Insurance, there seems to be giving people a paper that you could just take to traffic to get the car license. Okay? Because I am a victim of an accident that took place on the 4th of June down at the peninsula, right? Where the guy said he was insured by Gulf. He gave the police the information and everything. But now Gulf Insurance said that they're not paying out anything because that was only some kind of what called the act or something for him to get the car license. What kind of sense is that to me? Not at all, because since that date, I'm out of business. I'm a taxi operator and I'm out of business. Okay? Nobody supported me. Right? And this guy's out working out where he had or what, I don't know, because the police said they were trying to get him, they couldn't get him. The insurance agent trying to reach him, they can't reach him. And my bus is totally mashed up. So I want to find out who is responsible for knowing how these insurances operate.
Okay, I'll answer that question again.
Thank you for your call.
Yes.
Thank you for your call.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, thank you for your call. The police has the obligation to ensure and inquire about the person who is driving their insurance. When we read this policy, we must see the start date and when it would expire. So if you have an insurance policy that shows us that, hey, your policy started from the 13th of August 2025 and it's valid until the 13th of August 2026, and then the insurance company is going to say something else, then we have a problem. So I don't want to feel like the insurance companies are out there giving persons policies with one date, and in their system it's something different.
I think what the gentleman is trying to find out is, because I am familiar with the accident and the situation, because the gentleman has come to the traffic department, but what the information that he wants from us that we are not able to give, that has to come from the insurance company. And here is where the gentleman would have to go and seek legal advice, because the traffic department, or our position is, we ask you for the insurance. We are not to concern ourselves with whether or not your insurance is comprehensive or third party. That is not on us. Whenever somebody insures their vehicle, the insurance company take into consideration the age of the vehicle, the condition of the vehicle, and so they would give to that person, whether it's comprehensive, third party, road act, whatever it is. That is what their company policy is. Our situation is, what we are supposed to be responsible for is to make sure you get into an accident and you have your insurance policy. So the gentleman, and we feel bad because of his experience, and so because he's been complaining. He's a taximan. He's now out of business, and so we feel his pain. But there is very little we can do when it comes to what the insurance is going to pay out or what they accept. That is not on the police. We are to make sure that the gentleman brings to us, because he has 5 days to produce an insurance. Mm-hmm. So you bring that insurance. If you don't have it on you at the scene of the accident, you have to get it to us within 5 days, failing to produce your insurance within those 5 days. That is another charge as well. Mm-hmm. But we are not responsible for how the insurance company applies their insurance to the taxpayers.
Their payout policies.
That's correct.
Okay. Before we move on, take any more calls. The KFC issue is still a concern, and someone is suggesting of erecting pedestrians no crossing signs on both sides of the road, and by KFC and cross by the Chinese and supermarket area, so that people can see clearly that you're not supposed to cross, right? That's what it says, no crossing, no pedestrian crossing, if that's the correct term to use. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning.
Caller.
Morning.
Yes, morning.
Long College Street. And some sleeping policeman. These bus drivers and other people just driving. Like they're up in the in a. I'm gonna put down sleeping policeman. One month ago. Because and that is behind.
The caller is in and out.
I think the caller is trying to find out whether or not, I am not sure if he's asking whether or not we have sleeping policemen, or whether he's saying that they're there and person not using them how they're supposed to use. I am not certain that
I'm not certain, because he was in and out. But I know he mentioned sleeping police.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
heard that too.
If he's saying that there are sleeping policemen and the motorists are not adhering, then here is where it goes back to the motorists. You now have an obligation. The sleeping policemen are there. You know the reason why they are there, and so you have to slow down. We cannot put police officers in every area that persons are offending the law. That will not be. We don't have the amount of
practical.
Police. Right. Thank you very much, EQ. That it would not be practical. We don't have the resources. We don't have the manpower. And so if you see a sleeping policeman, for your own safety, your own vehicle, the safety of you and your vehicle, you have to slow down, because some of those sleeping policemen, they're dangerous.
What? You go over them slow and they got your vehicle. So imagine you run over one of them. So
persons have a responsibility to whenever you meet a sleeping policeman, that you drive with due care and attention.
Let's go to the phone line. All right, we lost that call. Talk about being practical. Can you shed some light, I should say, on this is you can opt not to answer, but it's a personal question. And it's stemming from an incident that happened on the weekend. There was an accident down in the Ross University area, and people were told that an officer couldn't go to the scene. It happened in the evening because there wasn't enough police or investigators to go out on the road.
Over the weekend, what time? I worked on the weekend. I did deal with an accident down at Ross University, but that was not the situation.
That wasn't the situation.
Nobody who was involved in that accident can rightfully call in and said that was what the excuse the police gave.
Well, this is said the police. They said they were told the reason why the police officer took long to get to the scene because he was the only officer working, and he was dealing with another incident at the time.
No. Well, if it's the situation that I'm thinking about, the persons who were calling and the direction that they were giving the police, they said they were involved in an accident in Boyd's. So, Old Road Police Station, who were responding to that accident, but they're claiming that they're seeing no accident in Boyd's or West Farm area.
Okay.
It's not until after someone called my personal phone and said, hey, you have an accident down here by Johnson Langpad.
Yes.
So when I came down there, the person said, so I asked them, where you guys were calling for? She said, well, at Boyd's, I think this area is Boyd's, because the person was not familiar with the area. So I said, well, that was the mishap, because you guys are calling for Boyd's. Another district is who is responding, but claiming that they're not seeing anything.
Right.
So that's why when I got a personal call, I didn't get a call from dispatch or anything. I got a personal call and I went down and inquired because that is my area.
Okay.
So when I reached, I explained to them.
Right.
So the persons involved in the accident know well what happened, so that excuse would
not be suffice.
No.
All right. Thanks for clearing it up.
Yes.
Good morning, you're live.
Hello, good morning, GQ.
Yes, good morning, Sonny Boy.
I just called to say hello, and I'm enjoying the show. I haven't spoken to you guys in a long, long time. You all have a show today. I'm enjoying it. Okay?
Good morning. Have a good day, sir. Thank you so much for always tuning in.
Yes, Sonny Boy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sonny Boy.
Okay,
Yes, man.
thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome, Sonny Boy. Back to the phone line. Good morning, you're live.
Hi, good morning. As the gentleman was speaking about insurance, I called earlier concerning if someone got knocked down. But then this accident I'm speaking about, the person was knocked down by a passenger bus, and the driver's name is not on the insurance. So how do you go about dealing with those things?
Is she saying that the driver's name wasn't? I am not understanding. If
she's given a story piece,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So which I don't think is fair for you, because she's give one side, one part, hold back something, and then when you answer, she give the other part.
So she has to.
Right. So I would encourage her to call in and give the entire story,
so that we can familiarize ourselves, so we can make the proper
assessment.
Yes.
But in the meantime, insurance policies, for example, you may have an insurance policy, but my name is not on it. But it says permitting anyone 25 and older, 2 years of experience driving, whatever, or any person permitted by you to drive the vehicle. So that the driver doesn't have to name has to be physically on that insurance policy. If you're saying that, hey, the driver is under 25, but the insurance state 25 and older, then that's something the police would have to look into, and the person injured would have to take legal actions with. But if they're saying that the insurance policy doesn't cover that person at all, then the person is not driving when covered by insurance, and the owner can be charged for permitting that person
That's correct.
for driving when not covered by insurance.
Officer
But-
Bell, may I stop you? I want to take some more call. While I appreciate what you're sharing, and I'm not dismissing your information, what I'm afraid of is there will be a rebuttal
Yes,
to
yes,
what you're saying.
yes,
Hence why
yes.
I say, let the lady
Yes,
call in
yes,
and give the complete
yes,
story. Because
yes.
while you might be sharing is accurate information, it might not be applicable to her situation.
correct.
Because apparently she's talking about a certain situation,
Situation,
and
that's
she's
correct.
giving it piece
Peace.
by
Yeah.
piece. Don't mean to be
No,
disrespectful.
that's okay.
Let's go back to the phone line. Let's take this call. Good morning, you're live.
Okay, I'm now calling back. Yeah, the person got knocked down in the village while leaving their yard to cross the other side of the road. But then what I'm saying was that he was hit by a passenger bus, but the driver is not on, name is not on the bus owner insurance. Not that he's underage, but I think he just asked the guy to go and pick up some people for him. I think he was running late in whatever he was doing, and he asked the guy to go and pick up some people from some of his passengers, and in doing that, there was the accident.
Okay, well, back to what I was saying. Every insurance policy is different depending on what you discuss with the insurance company.
And what you're paying for.
And what you're paying for. Now, persons can have insurance policy. For example, as I said, you can have an insurance policy that you can permit anyone to drive your vehicle. Once you permit them, they are covered by the insurance. It could be that your insurance policy is a named insurance policy where only the persons that are on the policy can drive that vehicle. It can be where that person have to have their license 2 years and above to be able to drive and covered by that insurance. Or the person may have to be 25 and older and be covered by the insurance. So I was not dealing with that case, so I don't know exactly what the insurance policy is, and that's why I said it's the onus now is on that person to inquire from that person, the owner of the bus insurance, whether or not they covered that person in question. And it's the onus is on the police to inquire about that too, because it can stem to two other charges, which I state: driving when not covered by insurance, and that the owner for permitting another when not covered by the insurance.
Officer Bell and Officer Donnelly, I don't want to stir up an ant's nest, but a few weeks ago, we touched base on insurance as it relates to passenger buses not having child seats, right? And we were saying, and we uttered, the reason why the insurance is so high is to cover
those risks.
And you say now, this lady who is now bringing a case to the table about concern of an individual, and from what she's saying, it appears that he's not being compensated.
And that's why you said we cannot speak as to the reason why.
What we can do for the lady, if she is still listening, is just to get a clearer understanding. She can come to the traffic department and have a conversation with us, so we can advise her as to exactly to her situation, so we can deal with it. Because it seems as though that the lady is getting a knockoff for whatever reason, whether it's a family member, is whatever, she's not being treated fairly. And so you can either call the traffic department and ask to speak to me personally, or you can come to the traffic department where we can have a sit-down conversation, so we can advise you properly as to where we go from here. If you want my personal number, that too you can get 662-3240. My name is Donnelly.
You get that out to more than her, right?
And that's fine.
Yes, but also if the person who was driving does not feel that they were the cause of the accident and they are not making that claim to the insurance, then the insurance will not pay out also.
Well, I hear, but my concern is with all that high insurance, is still having issues with people getting claim. It's public transportation. It shouldn't be that way. That's what I'm saying. With private, I could understand the back and forth, but you're now dealing with public transportation, where everything is supposed to be in order, where all the dots supposed to be dotted, all the T's supposed to be crossed, and you're telling me people are getting in accidents and can't get claim?
Say
Because
say two, GQ. If you're driving a bus and someone run across the road and you collide with them, you were driving on your right away. Do you feel like you would have caused that accident?
No.
So would you claim from your insurance?
No.
Okay. So I'm just saying we have to properly investigate the accident
that's why we need
before
for-
claim.
yes.
That's before the insurance do make a claim, because that moment when the insurance do make a payout, it's them accepting that they are liable for the accident.
Thank you for the clarity. That's what I want.
Yes.
Clarity. Thank you so much. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning, you're live.
Hi, morning. Officer Bell, I really want to thank you for stepping up, and being here every Wednesday, in place of Sergeant Henry. Great job they're doing. What I would like, right, in closing, if you have time, is to remind persons the role, right, of the traffic department when an accident occurs, and one of you have to go to assess the accident. Because I think persons are missing what is your responsibility and what is the insurance part.
Yes.
And in doing further, let the persons know that if you are part of going to court if needs be, right? So maybe if you can tell that, if not, whenever you come back, maybe you could impound more and the role of the police department when it comes to traffic accidents. What are you look for? And if you have to be at court, if you will have to be there, what's not. But good job.
Thank you. You have any calls?
Yeah, and we have a voice note for you. We have a voice note for you as well. Hold on, dear. Let me get this up for you. It's from Granny. Where did I put that now? Okay, here we go. This is from Granny.
Jico, this for the officers there. Good morning, one and all again. I'm trying to call, but I can't get it. I think that you guys said, and I don't think it should have come out that way, or it should have come out like, okay, then y'all said parking will be at Valuemat. Valuemat is a business area, right? And one of the problems that I knew about in the Valuemat area is music festival. When people went and parked there, people who also went to shop there could not get any parking, right? So I think that y'all should more or less get a letter from Hosford, because that whole area belongs to Hosford, seeking what time is the closure time for the business them there, so more or less people could park there, just join a reference, from after 8, who is going to the cricket and what's not, because you have to remember it's a business area.
Well, I'll let Donnelly answer that, because I was not in that meeting where they might have gotten that permission. So I will let.
I thank you, Granny. Good morning. Thank you very much for tuning in. If I could recall, I don't think that we said that we have permission, but I was just giving an area where persons can park, as opposed to parking on yellow lines or restricted areas. It was just giving you an area that you are likely to park.
To consider.
Alternative.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's go back to the phone line. Morning, you're live. Yes, good morning. All right, so we'll move on to the next concern. All right, so we're getting close to wrapping up. The next concern at hand has to do with, okay, the call is back. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, GQ.
Morning.
Good morning, Donnelly.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Good morning, sir.
It is nice that you all have a good conversation. But I do believe, right, that when people get into accident, each and every sundry who get in the accident, who was in who vehicle and what vehicle, the police should visit and get information. Right? I'm suffering from an accident that I paid a business. I paid to do a business with a gentleman. And I paid to do a business with him. And acknowledged from the accident He tell the police I was on the vehicle, so the police never come to me at the hospital. No. And he tell the insurance that I was on the vehicle. And it is very unfair when such like these things happen, because these things it all can lead to crime and violence. Because I am here, this unable to function from this accident. And this gentleman come to my house one time and asked me how much money he want for the accident. And I tell him, no, we have to go to somebody who can walk because that the gentleman never come back to me. And I believe that you all as police officers, you are doing as much as you could do. And like as you said to the lady, the lawyers, she will be true liar. But sometimes the lawyers, them here, like nobody look out for the lesser man. They got the cash, they walk out well by this case here, must paid. So I don't get paid from that case. I don't get news up here.
Okay, I will take that call. And at the same time, I'll explain the roles of the police, because that will boil down to it too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that caller, the onus, if that person didn't remain at the scene, the police wouldn't have any knowledge that that person was involved in the accident unless the driver claimed that they had passenger. And as he's saying, the driver never indicated it to the police. Now, it was on the onus was on him now to go to the police and say, hey, I was involved in an accident. I was a passenger of this vehicle, whatever, and you're inquiring whether or not the person mentioned. If they didn't, then the police will inquire from that driver now whether or not he had any passengers and why he didn't indicate. Okay, and the police move from there. But if at no time you went to the police cannot just get up and put in a claim for you when they have no facts, no proof that you were present at that scene or involved in that accident. Because anybody can claim injuries that have happened elsewhere. So the onus was on him to inquire and go to that person insurance also and let them know that, hey, I was involved in an accident. Not just sit back because that person came to you once and stay home and mourn, because injuries are serious. So if that person didn't reach out to nobody else and they just accepted that, then it's a kind of fault of him. Now, the role of the police visiting the accident scene is to record their observations, measurements, damages, explanations, the names of persons who may have been involved in the accident, may have been injured, because medical forms have to be issued to persons that are injured. Now, the police will determine who they may feel to be at fault, because the onus is on the police to charge whoever to send it to the court. However, even though I might feel like, hey, you GQ is at fault, I will summon you to go to the court, but that doesn't mean that you are wrong automatically. We have to do a trial. Now, I cannot just get up and say, hey, GQ, you're wrong, so you have to pay Donnelly. The police does not get involved with no compensation.
Should not.
We do not and should not get involved with any compensation. So whether or not you have been paid or you paid somebody, that has nothing to do with us. We send the matter towards the court. If you are the person I find at fault, and Donnelly is the person that needs to be compensated, and you guys at court and you say, hey, I was compensated and I wish no further police action, then the magistrate determines what he or she would do there. But also, even though Donnelly is compensated, if the officer is of the view that the person was reckless or dangerous in their driving, they will still be charged.
That's now borderlining on the law of the land.
Yes.
Okay, so which you're now saying to us, civil matter is one case.
One case.
But the law of the land is another case.
Criminal matter, that's correct.
So when we take the persons to court, the compensation that the magistrate will rule out, it's for the state. You know, will have to take your legal proceeding with that person after the magistrate would have said, okay, I find GQ guilty. So now it's on Donnelly now to take her civil action against you because there was a ruling. So it's not for the police to make anybody pay anybody for any compensation.
Right.
So we just want to get that clear to the persons out there.
Which brings us back to what GQ said earlier. You get a someone to go to court, go to court. Because you might say, oh, I don't pay, I don't get paid. There are always two sides. There is the police side, which is the criminal side, and there is the civil side. So whether or not somebody pay you or did not pay you, the officer, like Mr. Bell just said, as long as the officer feel you were driving without due care and attention or you were reckless in your driving,
whatever the law,
then you would have to make
even down to the person who would have been at fault, even though they pay out whoever. If you're someone to go to court still, because that person now can come later and claim for other stuff.
That's correct.
So once you go to the court and it's sealed off, tomorrow Donnelly cannot come and say, hey GQ, you owe me $10,000 more or this and that. Once the ruling is passed in the court, that is final. But if you are taking it upon your own onus, then you're going to always have problems. Because this month, you're going to say, hey, yeah, my vehicle was fixed. But 2 months after now, you hear knocking, you hear this, and you say, oh, because a GQ hit me chance, he got to come back and fix this, So we're trying to run from the back and forth.
I hear you.
Yeah.
We have 6 minutes. Let's take this call. Good morning, your life, pardon me. Morning. Yes, go ahead.
If you all want to put down sleeping policemen in College Street, good. Yeah, the highway.
Hello?
College Street does have sleeping policemen.
Yeah. Too. Someone typed a message to you the other day. I think that's the same person calling.
Yeah.
Right. Are you still there, sir?
Okay.
But he's in and out.
Yeah. So I guess he's making a cry for more, because I understand from one call, one person messaged and said, College Street got, here it is. There are only 2 sleeping policemen in the College Street gut. So I'm guessing they're implying it's not enough.
And they're in the upper area, so
yeah.
I would have already made a note.
Okay. Good morning, your life. Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Yes.
To GQ and the officers there.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
One of my concerns, and there's some built-in drainage in the road in some areas throughout the island. But the thing is that they are not marked. And what I am suggesting that on these areas where you have these drainage, on either side of the drain, you can put on either yellow or that white will be better for the night, because some areas there aren't any lighting, and you drive in and you just bounce down or bounce through. Okay, an example of the type of drainage I'm talking about. When you're coming out of Sandy Point by the water dam there is one there, right? Over Lodge, come on Lodge Gut, and you're going up to the Mount Carmel. There's the next one there. They need to be highlighted, if I should put it that way, for drivers, especially at night. That is my concern.
Okay. Thank you, Carla. That was also a concern that came up in the truckers meeting. So I think Donnelly would use her, man voice.
What?
Her man voice, and get it. So
I'm afraid to ask. I'm afraid to ask.
I don't think he meant to say man voice. I think he wanted me to use my my power.
I said what I said.
Basically, to my
clearly, right? Clearly, he has
my force.
He has maintained his position.
Well, I know what he means in getting it done. So, caller, thank you very much for that information, and so we'll work on that one as well.
Guys, we're going to wrap it up. We're not going to take any more calls at the moment. We're going to wrap it up here. I want to thank you all for calling in. But before we do, someone sent a message earlier this morning as it relates to landscapers. They was asking the police officers to please remind landscapers when they are using the weed eaters to do so carefully because they are dangerous. And that was someone making a cry and hoping that you could,
reach them.
Use your man voice.
Yes. And we want to thank the caller for that information, Mr. GQ, because sometimes even me myself, I'm driving along the road and they're cutting and they're not stopping. And one little stone can create damages to your vehicle. And so we want to thank the caller for that information. Persons who are using weed eaters, landscapers, once you're doing work on the road, even if you're in a village, it doesn't matter where you are, and persons that are using the road, motorists, pedestrians, you stop, allow them to cross, allow them to pass before you continue what you're doing, because these little stones can be very dangerous. We want to thank you guys for calling in today. We appreciate Mr. GQ for giving us the extra time on the program. We really appreciate it. And those persons who would have made the program what it is, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Continue to enjoy your day and the rest of the week.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Attention all drivers, I'm begging you to